rare espresso video. Well, today what we're gonna do is I'm gonna open up the collab that we did with Monta Coffee. So I think there's still a little bit more of this coffee, so please go and pick it up. But yeah, he sent the production version, like the full thing here, and I know a lot of you guys got this coffee in. So what we're going to do today is we are going to, unfortunately, subject ourselves to making espresso. But that's because it's been a while since I've done anything espresso related, and I did pull one shot of this coffee, and it was very impressive. I was like, oh wow, maybe I like espresso again. But pretty much, we did this collab the other day. Jaime, fantastic guy. This is such an actually amazing coffee. It is super, super clean, naturally processed Ecuadorian Gesha. You can check out my previous video on doing some pour over of it and you know, tasting through it. But this is now the official production version of the coffee, the one that you guys got. And I want to thank everyone for picking up this coffee and supporting, you know, everything, and especially supporting the roasters that we feature and these collaborations that we do on the channel and on the Discord. And you know, we're gonna have more and more of this, and we'll have some more in real life events, surprisingly. So stay on the lookout for that, and you know, stay in tune, check the Discord, check the announcements for that. But what I want to do is actually open this up, and you know, we'll take a look at what's in it, and we will make some spro. So I have the Mach 2 up. I mean, I can talk about this at some point. There's actually a whole factory tour video, like a new factory tour video that I need to upload that I shot with TR like all the way back in December. But yeah, this is the Mach 2. I make 1 or 2 espressos with it, maybe a week, less than that at times, and I have a great time because it's fun to use. And I'll walk you guys through kind of the settings that I have on here, and just this is just generally how I'm now pulling most espressos, at least of, you know, the lighter roast profiles. Even I would honestly say more like cleaner coffees will work really well with the profiles and the kind of methodology that I have for espresso. So this should hopefully make sense. And of course, we can make more and more videos on that if that is of interest, and you'll all force me to taste espresso. So let's open this guy up and see what's in it. Always fun to do these sort of collaborations with these micro roasters, because I feel like, you know, highlighting, like let's be honest, there are like thousands and thousands of people trying to roast coffee. Some of them are cooler than others, and some of them spend their time and effort to hang out on the Discord, and they reach out and they're like, you know, they want to entertain these goofy little ideas that I have. And here we are, and we have a fantastic coffee that you all get to taste. You know, the fun thing with coffee is, like, because it is a sensory experience, like, you know, you actually have to taste it. When you get these coffees in, right, it's like the tangible way for you to actually understand what we're doing in the videos and tasting and all of that. And hopefully, you know, you are brewing the coffees well and doing it justice. But yeah, here is the coffee. So we got Monta Coffee from Leesburg, Virginia. Very cool. And he has included a bunch of stuff. I know he sent me some stuff on this. So this is the production one. The card is a little prettier on here. Really nice print. It's got the recipe on the back. It's got a recipe on the back that, you know, should work really well for this coffee. We're going to do a little of espresso here, so we'll do something crazy. But for sure, this is really nice. Like, I just remember him coming up to me at SC Expo and handing me stuff. And now we have a full production of it, which is pretty fun. And he gave me a lot of stuff, actually. Let me take a look. I know you guys got something similar, but this packaging is beautiful. Monta Coffee coaster. And then we have, I think this is something he was mentioning to me too, this Sidra Gesha blend, which is it's called Supersonic. So we got a little bit of this and these little espresso cups. There's a lot of effort for, you know, small roastery, small operation to be doing right there. There we go. Very cool. And then, oh, one more thing. Mejorado Oxidation Honey in a Weber tube. I'm wearing a Weber shirt. Very cool. We now have the coffees here. Let's go ahead and actually pull a shot of it and see what happens. But essentially, my approach to espresso now is like, I actually want, I mean, I haven't really changed anything exactly in my thought process with espresso, but I have made espresso a little more tolerable for myself. And the two things there for me is, one is a slower pre-infusion, maybe slightly longer too, but also a longer ratio to lower TDS. So originally I was pulling a lot of shots in like 18 to 54. Now what I've switched over to doing, at least with a lot of these coffees, is I'm pulling at 17:60. So that is actually a larger ratio, and our TDS does drop. It makes these coffees a lot more palatable as espresso, especially with, I would say, acidity-forward burst sets and styles of coffee. Like nowadays, you have coffees that are like so punchy and so loud that you kind of might want to tame things a little. Not to say that we don't like battery acid, right? But this is a coffee that I think will be very exciting. It is super clean, very raspberry, pomegranate, floral, sweet, and layered. What we're gonna do is we're gonna now pull a shot of it. So, of course, like this really is gonna depend on what grinder you're using. I'm not really gonna like tell you what grind size to use. You guys are always generally smart enough to figure that out. Generally smart enough. Like it's so hard to talk about like what to do. I'll just do like one thing and hopefully you can follow along. But what this is set up as right now is I have 2 bars of pre-infusion, so it's actually very slow. So I don't know if you guys can see this, but it is a very slow flow at 2 bars. And then my full pump pressure is about 6 bars, and at the puck it's actually around 5. And then my group head temperature on this machine is 91 to 92 Celsius, which is probably around 88, 89 at the puck. So there is some sort of temperature drop. Lower temperature, I actually really nowadays prefer for espresso. So my pre-infusion flow is around 3 to 3.5 mils, and then my full pressure is around 8. So, you know, this is totally achievable on most espresso machines, maybe a little lower actually in today's landscape on how fast people are pulling shots. And then I'm using a high flow extraction basket, so this is Spirit, and yeah, group head temperature on the lower end, so like 90 to 92 Celsius, which I think really helps round things out. I feel that, you know, if you have too hot of a temperature, or, you know, I guess like if you also pre-infuse too long, you can introduce some sort of muddiness, and I generally nowadays want to have more perceivable sweetness and let the coffees kind of shine a little bit more, if that makes sense. So anyway, let's go ahead and weigh out some coffee, and we'll taste it. We'll grind it up and taste it. But yeah, beautiful packaging always from Monta. So you can see really beautiful. You can see my face on here too. So let's open it up. This is, I think, a little bit on the fresher side since when we're filming this video, but for sure this is a coffee that will open up in the following weeks. So yeah, this was roasted a few days ago actually. So we're gonna pull it because why not? But yeah. Oh, it still has so much sweetness. Like it smells really floral. It smells clean, you know, sweet, and it is a natural, which is exciting. But my dose is 17. Hard to tell nowadays with what colors coffees are, but you know, light, especially in today's landscape of processing. Like you can have coffees that are very dark, but they're actually light because of processing. So we'll grind up this coffee, 17. You know, I have a Flat Max 1 here, so it doesn't have, you know, the pancake burn, all of that, but it's fine, you know, I got the dual Seattle setup right here. But, okay, it is fresh, but floral, it smells very red, so we'll let that go. And, you know, if you guys are wondering how I'm prepping, like, I'm old school, I guess, right? I just got the normal dose V2 tamper, and I got a S-Works WDT. Nowadays, I'm just like, I'm not grinding like Omega fine. I am evenly extracting. So like if my prep is off anyway, it's usually okay. And I am pulling fast enough and large enough ratios, like lower TDS, where it's like, okay, if my puck prep isn't perfect, it's still gonna taste good. And ultimately this goes down to like, you know, just having great coffees like this. All right. Wow. Okay, I do smell the natural now, but very clean. So, you know, I still just do normal WDT. Like, it's not that crazy. So I still go all the way around, then inside, then slightly up. But, like, honestly, you could just not WDT with these coffees and probably tastes completely, you know, fine. Now, let's go ahead and pull a shot. And I'm gonna move these out of the way so you can hopefully see how beautiful these shots are. Nowadays, I'm more so focused on the temperature, so lowering the temperature, and then also this like slightly larger ratio. I think it really helps round things out and also kind of make things taste a little more like balanced. But because we have a burst set like SLM here, it does poke acidity up front a little. So again, this is 2-bar pre-infusion, really at about 4 mils fill, and then 8 for full pressure. And this is, 91 Celsius, down here probably 89, there's some temperature drop. So pre-infusing for about 4 seconds, slow, and then I just go to full pressure. And our flow out is about 6-ish mils a second. At 50 mils, I drop back down to 2 bars, or that 4 mils, and then I end up at 60. So essentially, it is low, high, low, which I think is what a lot of people are pulling anyway, and what you guys would probably pull for something like this. But very fast shot. So 18 seconds in total, with, I would say, about 5 seconds at the beginning at 4 mils, ramp all the way up to the full pressure, then ramp down low, high, low. Honestly, like what really makes things taste less harsh is just overall lowering the pressure, is still that decline. So at the end there, I like to ramp down. Plus, it's really fun. It's very fun to do this, right? There's some skill involved with manually pulling your shots nowadays. Like low, high, low. Like look how fast I was pressing. But there we go. You can see it is a fresher roast, so you do see some crema. Really, really nice. Very red, very floral. I definitely smell some of the natural process here, but it's clean. It doesn't, there's no funkiness in this coffee. But because I'm pulling to 60, so 17 to 60, it is a lower TDS. Like, you do get more liquid. You still get crema. I guess it's a fresher roast of this coffee. But we are able to pull out a lot of that juice, a lot of that acidity, because our full pressure flow into the cup is very high. Like I would say anything 4 to 6, maybe 7, 8 might be a little too coarse. Mils out is giving you a lot of that even extraction. It's giving you a lot of the acidity. It's tasting great. And we can knock out this puck later. I can show you guys. But yeah, I'm letting this cool down. So let's taste it when it's hot. Oh wow, yeah, there is acidity forward, but it's sweet. It's very delicate. Long linger of sweetness, floral, really, really long like sweetness. The aftertaste is sweet. It is fresh. So I do think we'll get more raspberry and cranberry as time goes on. But like this style of shot now is like, maybe a little bit acidity forward, mostly sweet and balanced. And a lot of that is like, my style of shot is quite optimized for the gear that I have, right? But you can kind of take this with most machines that have like, low, high, low, or anything that lets you change pre-infusion and full pressure, so on and so forth. And you can get enough acidity out while retaining a lot of the nicer aspects of espresso. I think like this is a high enough strength coffee for people to enjoy. It doesn't have like too much pain in it, and I generally associate pain in espresso with high pressure and high TDS. So by getting rid of both of those things, things taste a little bit better. We are nice and sweet. We're less muddy because of the lower temperature, and we also get this nice acidity because of the full of our grind size, where our flow out is actually quite high. I'm tasting less of the format of the brew, right? I'm tasting less of what espresso tastes like, and I'm tasting more of the effort that the producer and roaster have put in, right? This is what the coffee tastes like. But I am retaining, enough of what makes espresso, which is the concentration, and the oomph when you taste espresso. So yeah. Ooh, we get that acidity, layered, it's sweet, long linger, on espresso, because of the higher TDS, the higher concentration, I always get that long, that mouthfeel, and in this case, it's really sweet and floral with this raspberry or cranberry red fruit note underneath. Definitely veering more towards acidity. If I were to use my hands, right, we have acidity up here, and then it's like long and sweet and balanced. I guess it's not balanced if you have acidity forward, but The point is that pulling those extra mils out and using the temperature and using the pressure and all of that allows you to make a much more approachable coffee that I think really showcases, what these guys are doing, like, how much effort it takes to have these producers and roasters create coffees that taste this way, right? So you're tasting less espresso, which is a kind of scary thing for a lot of people. Like, why am I spending all this time and money and effort to do this and not really taste the coffee, or, not really make espresso? But, like, let's be real, man, that's how it should be done. And then I guess I'll knock out, I'm so sorry, we're gonna knock out this puck onto the coaster. And we can see, because we're operating at a pretty coarse grind size, you can see, like, no black spots here. I'm trying to not drop this puck. And if we break this apart, you can see the puckology is real. It's like pretty evenly extracted. So no like weird channeling, and that is all due to just the grind size we're working at with the lower pressures and the high flow basket. So we're tasting more of the coffee, which is why we can drop dose and run like 17 grams and pull something out to like 60, and it still tastes really nice. Coffee can handle it, roast style can handle it. So yeah, there you go. That is all for today. I want to thank everyone for picking up this coffee. I feel that this is a highly underrated roaster at this point in time. So feel free to check out all of his other coffees. And let me, join the Discord. Let me know what you guys think about this coffee. I think this will seriously open up in the following weeks. But yeah, that is a lot of rambling on currently how I pull espresso, but also collab coffee. So we'll have more. So thank you guys so much for spending the time to watch the video, check out the Discord, and I will see you all in the next one. Goodbye. Crazy, we're making espresso.